to episode 28 of the Living the Amazing Life podcast. I'm so glad that you guys joined us this morning. I'm so excited to have my good friend, my barber, John Foster, on the podcast with us today. I'm telling you guys, you want to share this podcast because this podcast is going to be amazing. And so go ahead and share it with your friends and your family, your coworkers, your church members. I pray you had a great weekend as well. I hope you had a great weekend as well, John.
Wonderful weekend.
Okay, wonderful weekend. John had a wonderful weekend. And so we're going to jump right into the podcast today. And as we are starting our week, August the 12th, and so we just want to help you a little bit to get your week started. And so as we jump into episode 28, I just wanted to, John, just to kind of share a little bit about himself, who he is, his family, and different things like that.
Well, first of all, Mr. T, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked about, me coming on. And
right.
I'm here.
Right.
But I'm married. I've been married for about 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I have 5 beautiful children. Me and my wife, we own a financial service business, also own a barbershop as well. And, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
My marriage is wonderful. My kids are wonderful. And, we just living life,
right.
And just enjoying.
And you guys really have, as I interact with your family, and of course, I know all of your kids and been in your home, several times. I just see that family-like atmosphere. But one of the things that and I want to really jump into this because I'm edging to get into this thing. Mm-hmm. When I sit in your barber chair, there's so many different conversations mm-hmm. that you and I have had, whether it was a political conversation, mm-hmm. A conversation on racism, right. A conversation on religion, mm-hmm. a conversation on just our community, what's happening in the Black community, right. and different things like that. And I really look at you, I labeled you as a conscious thinker. Mm-hmm. And that's who you are, because you're really a person who goes after information to, you want to know, you want to learn, you want to grow. You don't want to be ignorant to the things that are happening in our world.
Right.
And then you don't want to be ignorant to the things that are privy to us or mm-hmm. that belong to us. And we're just not going after it because of, we just don't know.
Right.
We won't open a book and read it. We won't do any research. And there's no excuse now because we have everything at our fingertips.
Right.
And so share with me, how did you get started on this quest to inquire knowledge?
Well, for me, this happened back in 2017. For me, I had, a surgery mm-hmm. Where I had to learn how to walk again. I had an ankle surgery. So while I was home, mm-hmm. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't move. I wasn't really mobile. Right. I asked my wife to give me my books, give me my Bible, give me this book and this book. And I just began to start to read.
Right.
And I began to start to understand, my purpose
mm-hmm.
while I'm here. Because everybody who's breathing, living,
right.
you have a purpose.
Right.
You have a special assignment,
mm-hmm.
From God.
Yeah.
And you must complete that assignment.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And if you don't complete that assignment, guess what? You're going to come right back here until
mm-hmm.
you complete the assignment.
Right.
So I began to start to learn and understand, while I'm here, I started to think outside of how everybody else thinks. Mm-hmm. Right. We call it the matrix, but the matrix, it is a real thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You can choose to be in it or you can choose to step out of it. But
right.
when you step out of it, you begin to start to see things clearly.
Right.
You begin to start to see things differently.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And from in the beginning, I had a lot of people say, John, you crazy, or you thinking this way, you thinking that way. And I began to say, well, I guess crazy is being good because I don't see it how you see it.
Right. Right.
Because
mm-hmm.
I'm seeing things clearly in my subconscious mind. Is beginning to allow me to see these things
okay.
and embrace these things.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then I had a spiritual awakening. right? A lot of people who's been living here their whole life, they never experienced one, right? Or what they may deem is their spiritual awakening, right? But for me, my spiritual awakening happened when I was at work. I was at work and I just, burst out crying for no apparent reason. My manager come running down. She thought something happened. The first thing she said, something happened to the wife, to the kids. And I said, no. I said, God now has revealed to me, right, for the things I've been asking for. And I had my spiritual awakening around when I was 40, 42, right? I'm 49 now, so I had mine at 42. It don't matter what age you have, you're going to have a spiritual awakening, right? Right. So for me, because I only asked him for three things, right? I wanted to know the truth about who I am, because we are somebody, right? That's why the world hates us so much, right? I wanted to know the truth about him, because man can't tell you about God, right? And I wanted to also know, right, what that was most important to me. I wanted to know, who am I? Yeah. Who am I?
And you and I have several conversations. I mean, man, I can't even begin to count the conversations, right, and the particular topics that we have that we can't really sometimes discuss with other people because they wouldn't get it. Right. They wouldn't understand, right? Because the type of conversations we have stretches your thinking. It takes you outside of your comfort zone. It causes you to think about, okay, I've been believing this all my life, and what I've been believing is a lie. Right. And when I thought that I couldn't accomplish these things, I was fooling myself, or I was deceiving myself, because I can accomplish these things. Right. And I think that when we come to a place like an awakening, or we come to a place where we're receiving the truth and knowledge, because we're putting the work in, we're disciplining ourselves and say, hey, I'm going to dig in. I'm going to find out for myself. I'm tired of people telling me what is truth. I'm tired of people telling me what's right and wrong. I'm gonna find that out for myself. Right. And when you find it out for yourself, it causes you to really be confident in what you possess, the truth. You're not questioning the truth because you found this out yourself. Right. And so there's been many conversations, and we're wrapping this podcast around who am I? The topic, who am I? And I want to read something. It says, most people don't understand who they are, so they go through life accepting and believing anything. Particularly, John, in our community, in the African American community, and I this just me. And I ain't putting this on nobody else, but I have adopted. I don't call myself African American. Right. I don't call myself Black. Right. I call myself Negro. Right. I'm a Negro. Right. And for me, when I say that, I have a sense of pride. I have a sense of identity. I have, when I say I'm African American, it don't give me that identity that I need. Right. So, but when I say I'm a Negro, it gives me that identity. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you feel like me as well, right? And I feel like you. I don't like that word. When you call me African American, you calling me something I don't even have dual citizenship, right? I wasn't born in Africa, right? So even though our ancestry, right, so come from there, right? Or they say that was the first civilization. That's what they said, right? But I don't like to be called that word. Right. I don't like to be called Black. Black means death. Right. Right. When you look it up in the Black's Law Dictionary, I recommend everybody get those because knowledge is power. Right. So I don't physically like those words, because again, those words were given to us. Right. Right. When you ask yourself, like, we are the only race that had our name changed at least 5 times. Right. Right. No other race had their name changed but ours. Right. So therefore, there was a reason why. Right. That's for us not to keep knowing who we are. Right. Right. Who am I? Who are you? Right. Right. You don't know who you are because somebody has always told you who you are. Right. Right. This is why you have to elevate the subconscious mind and think outside the box and say, okay, well, I know I'm not African American. I know I'm not Black, but who am I?
Right.
Right. You can't, you have people that live, in our community, we so embrace of being oppressed, right? We are comfortable with being oppressed.
Yeah.
Well, we never really experience what freedom really is.
Right.
Because throughout life, we always had somebody to tell you this and you're that, right? But never wanted to take the time to know who you are, right? Study who you are. You are somebody.
Yeah.
You know? We know everything else,
right.
but we don't want to know the things that are important. So on my spiritual journey, this was one of the things, right? I didn't care who say, John, you crazy or you weird, right? I say, hey, weird is good to me. Now that I see it, right?
And we see that word being used all throughout politics today.
Absolutely. You weird, right? So, for me, I had to say, you know what, John, you different. I always knew I was different. My mom used to tell me I was different. Right. I did things out of the ordinary. I didn't do things how everybody did. And growing up, my college years and stuff, I did, had a good time and stuff. But as you got older, I started to evolve. I wanted to do certain things different, right? Yeah. I began to see what life really has and what life could really be. I'm all about love, but again, my spiritual walk was my spiritual walk. It was designed for me, right? Because everybody can't go with you.
No.
So you, in my spiritual, in this move, I call it this movement for me, in this awakening, I had to cut people off. Because you can't go with me.
And that's including family too, right?
That's include family. Certain family members, you got to cut them off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you don't have your peace, you don't have anything.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
if I don't have peace, I would have peace in my home. It's a lot of homes that don't have peace.
They don't have it. You're right.
I don't care how much money you bring into the house, right? Because a lot of marriages is built around just money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you lose that money, because once that money gone, he or she, they gone. Right. So it wasn't never about love.
Right.
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 It wasn't never. That's why, people ask, well, do you and your wife, do y'all fuss or do you argue? I said, no, we don't. And they said, well, I don't believe it. It's not for you to believe. We don't. Right. We don't we don't argue when it comes to finances and money. Right. And I tell people all the time, why are you sitting there arguing and fussing about something that you pay every 30 days? You pay the same bills every 30 days.
Right.
So every month y'all arguing about the same thing.
That's good.
So at the end of the day, what boils down to, you just need to go make more money.
What is that thing that you are called to do? What is that vision you have of your life? What dreams do you have that are still ahead of you? What were you born to do? And what is your purpose? What is the purpose for your life? You need to be able to answer that, because until you really know your purpose, your life mission, your life purpose, your life vision, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna find yourself in a cycle. You're gonna find yourself in a civil, with that war, tug of war, going back and forth. Why? Because you don't know who you are. The reason why I'm so aggressive in my business, aggressive in my ministry, because I know who I am. There was a time that I didn't know who I was. And I found myself in a place of stagnation and a place of just, going around and around. But once I got a vision or a revelation of who I am and begin to write it down on paper, see, my mission, if you just come to ask me, well, Tim Harrell, what is your mission? My mission is to help others succeed in life. That is my mission.
Make more money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right. So what you're dealing with stubbornness, right? That's what you're dealing with.
Right.
Stubbornness, right? Non-communication.
Right.
Me and my wife, we communicate. Right. That's why, and you see how we act towards one another. It's genuine. It's not, when you see it. Yeah. That's genuine love right there. And she helped me through my spiritual walk. We do everything together. I even changed what really helped me Mr. T, what really helped me is when I changed my diet.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about your diet. Speak on that a little bit.
When I changed, me and my wife, one day we was watching a documentary on Netflix called What the Health, right? And all my life, I'm thinking, okay, where diabetes and cancer and heart disease come from, right? So I'm thinking, okay, when we used to say diabetes, we said sugar, right? So our parents used to say, oh, y'all got the sugar because y'all eating too many sweets, so too much carbohydrates. Well, when I really found out by looking at this documentary and also doing independent research myself, that most diseases, if not all diseases, come from eating meat. Now I know I'm gonna have, you may get some comments, coming back from your podcast and, about, the meat theory and everything. But, that's, it's fact. It's scientific fact. I mean, we can sit here, we can argue and say that it's not and that it is, and, but at the end of the day, I'm watching this documentary and, I'm listening to these doctors and stuff. And, it comes from eating meat.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. I don't disagree with you at all. I agree with you about the meat thing. And because, of course, I've tried it, still trying it. I just haven't got to that place of discipline where you are, but that's my goal. I'm striving at, and then as much, when I come and I sit down and talk with you, and I sit in your barber chair and we have that conversation, I'm listening. I'm listening to what you're telling me, and I'm taking it in. And when I sit in that chair, I'm challenged. I'm sitting in the chair, like, Lord have mercy, boy, I need to get myself together.
Right.
And because I know you're telling me stuff because you care about me, you love me, and you just want the best for me.
Right. And
I know when you first started out in your conscious thinking and just coming to this awareness and having this spiritual awakening, you wanted the whole world to know.
Yeah.
And you had conversations with people, and you were coming at them, and you and I had the conversation, and we talked about, hey, everybody's not going to accept what you have to say.
Right.
Even though you're telling them right. They're not going to accept what you have to say. And I remember you and I had a conversation about wisdom, using wisdom. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I remember I had one of my dear friends. She used to call me Brass, right? She said, "John, you too brass." I hear the passion, right? And I know you want to wake everybody up, but everybody don't want to be wake. People want to be asleep. Right. And then you and I had that decision. That discussion. You were saying about wisdom. You have to learn how to use wisdom, and, because wisdom can be given to you, but wisdom can also be taken away from you. Yeah. And you taught me, that yes, what you're saying is correct. But with wisdom, you can't force or make anybody to agree to what you're saying. Right. Right. So throughout time, I began to let that sink in. I began to let what my wife and what my, best friend, what she used to say, John, tone it down. Right. If you want people, because you was like, you want people to hear you. Right. You want people to understand. So you had to tone it down. And that's what I did. Yeah. So I tone it down. And what I do is that when I talk to people, about certain things, I meet them where they are, right? I don't do a lot of talking anymore, right? I listen to them, and then I meet them where they are, and I let them know, I give them the information, right? Now I'm just giving out information. Right. I'm not here to force you or to shake you, to make you think like, look, I need for you to, to get this. I'm not doing that anymore, right? Because until you get tired of being sick and tired, until you decide that I'm gonna get out of my own way, because there's nobody holding you back. The only person that's holding you back is you. Yeah. It's not your parents, it's not your wife, it's not your husband. At the end of the day, it's you. Yeah. Right. That you are in control, right? It's no government that's in control of you. It's no president that's in control of you. Only you are in control of you. Not even God is in control of you. Yeah. He is not even in control of you. Only you are in control.
Because he gave us free will to choose.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And once I dissect this thing, right? Because every day in life, you're supposed to be getting better. Yeah. Right. You should want to do better. Yeah. Right. Yeah. If you're doing the same thing you did 20 years ago, you have not grown.
You have not grown at all.
The only thing that changed with you is your age and the way that you look. right? But you physically haven't grown here mentally, right? Because everything starts here. It starts here, then it travels down here, right?
Yeah.
So understanding, I'm just understanding what life really is. And I'm 49, right?
So some of the areas, of consciousness, or where you've been had the spiritual awakening, or you've been awoke, is your diet. So you consider yourself a vegan?
Yes.
Okay. So you've been doing that how long now?
About 5 years now.
Okay.
I haven't eaten any meat, and me and my wife, we did. My wife started first. She started like in April. I can't remember, I guess 4 years from now. She started first, and then I trickled right behind her.
Wow.
Right. So it wasn't a process. We just did it cold turkey.
Yeah.
Some people, I would let them know, hey, do it in the process, right? You're not like me.
Right.
You're not like my wife. We just did it cold turkey, and we haven't looked back, right? And since I've been on this journey, right, I had my prostate exam done. Men, please, go get yourself checked. It's the worst thing to do is have pride because you're afraid of somebody going up you, right, and checking you out, right, and checking you, right. That's a pride thing. To know what's growing inside of you. Yes, you can, because I hear a lot of men say, well, we know we're going to die anyway, right? That's ignorant.
Yeah, I agree with you, John, because I had my exam as well. I got one coming up soon. I think I had mine when I turned 51, 52. Now I'm 61. So probably next year I'll probably getting another exam. And me as a man, I don't have a problem going to the doctor. I know most men have a problem going to the doctor. I don't have, excuse me, I don't have a problem going to the doctor because I want to live long.
Right.
There's things that I want to accomplish in this earth. There's people like my children and grandchildren I want to be there for, and I want to be able to be healthy enough to ensure that when I get 70, 75, and 80 years old, I'm still moving around. I'm still doing my thing.
Right.
That's my goal. I don't want to be confined to a wheelchair, in a nursing home or whatever. So there's certain things that we have to do and live today for tomorrow.
Absolutely. And that's why when I even look at, we had that conversation yesterday, I even look at death differently, right? I look at a lot of things different now, right? I remember when my aunt passed away, right? Just recent. And I remember going to my cousin, asked my cousin, right, what was y'all feeding her? I knew what she had because she had what my father had, right? But what was she eating, right? Again, when we say these things, because, we ate everything from the rooter to the tutor, right?
Yeah.
Everything what they gave us, that's what we ate.
Right.
We didn't care. We didn't know it was bad, right? We just ate it because we had to, right? They put it on the plate and you had to eat it, right? But once you allow that subconscious mind, really open, truly open, right? And you ask yourself like, man, this is bad for me.
Right.
They already trying to kill us anyway, right? So, because there's only two ways you're going to die. I tell people this all the time. You can agree or disagree. There's only two ways, involuntarily or voluntarily. Right. Right. So you have to ask yourself, right? As long as you keep eating wrong, you keep doing treating your body wrong, you're pretty much raising your hand, right? You're voluntarily saying, okay, I'm ready to go. Just call my number, right? And then you will have people feel sorry for you at the funeral, falling out, stuff like that, right? When I can say, I want to live as long as I can, right? Now, through science, right, they said a human being can live up to 130, 150 years old if we take care of ourselves, right?
Wow.
That's science. I didn't come up with it. It's there. Go look it up, right? Don't take my word for it. But, for me, because I have younger kids, I want to be there. I want to be able to walk all of my daughters down when they get married, right? I just want to be there. I don't mind aging, right? Because aging is good.
Yeah.
getting old, I don't want to do.
Right.
I don't want to be confined to a wheelchair. I don't want to be confined to a walker,
Right.
right? I want to be able to have all my limbs. I want to be able to move, right, gracefully, right? I want to be able to still run, and still be able to do the things with my wife and stuff like that, right?
That's
so, and then how you get there is with love. And you speak in positivity. As long as I'm speaking positivity, as long as I'm speaking goodness in people, right? That's going to keep you ageless as well.
Right.
It ain't just what eating. 80% is eating, 20% is working out. And I tell guys all the time, you can be buff as you want, but your insides can be tore down. Yeah. Right. It's a lot of people, that I've come across or had to talk to, they know some of them are here, some of them still are, that they was in the gym every day. They was working out, but they still was eating wrong. You still was feeding your body what your body. And then we have to understand this too, right? God didn't, we all are not the same. He didn't make us the same, right? We have 9 ether DNA, right? Most cultures, they got 6, right? So we have to ask ourselves, are we really eating according to how God told us to eat? Right now, you're going to get some pushback. Well, he did mention meat. We can eat meat in the New Testament. Okay, I get all that, right? But you asking yourself, the ones that's eating the most meat is the ones that's dying the most. And that's our community. We the most that got the diabetes and the cancer and the heart disease, right? Because you still trying to eat like your, I call it, you trying to eat like your oppressor, right? They can eat meat, right? You can't eat the stuff that they eat. Right. When you eat that stuff, Mr. T, you are sick. We're the sickest. We're the sickest culture, community. Yeah. Sick, right? Sick. Because we choose to eat certain things that our body is not conducive to. We supposed to eat plants, nuts. You don't have fangs in your mouth. You don't have claws. Right. Right. You supposed to be eating nuts, berries, fruits, right? Grains, things like that, right? Because our teeth is made to grind our food. But, when I explain this to certain people, some people get offended. Yeah. It's not that they get offended. They know.
It's conviction.
Right. They know, but they choose, right? They choose to live in their own dismay. Right. So when I tell people, say, yeah, I know, but I'm still going to eat my meat anyway. Right. Okay. So when they talk like that, I end the conversation because you're really not trying to accept knowledge. You're really not trying to go and do the deep dive and know this homework. You know it's wrong, but you choose to stay in your ignorance. Right. So I meet people where they at now.
Yeah, and I think that's good. I think that's good. I think you'll be more effective doing it that way, and you'll get more positive results in helping people, because that's what the Living the Amazing Life is all about. It's about helping people. It's not living an amazing life. It's not the car I drive or the house I live in or how much money I have in my bank. Living the amazing life is a person who is on a quest to help others succeed in life, whether they succeed in their health, succeed in their finances, succeed in their relationships. That's what living the amazing life is about. And John, you have displayed living the amazing life. You have displayed, going and doing your homework and research, and you have a heart to share the information with people. You're not just hoarding the information to yourself, and you and your family, and y'all benefiting, and you're not telling anybody. You're willing to share this with anybody who will listen, anybody who will embrace it, and that is what living the amazing life is about. And I know when I do sit down with John or go get my hair cut, I always get something. Listen to me, y'all. I never walk away or get out of that barber chair and not get some value added to my life. And that is what it's all about. And I know that we have exhausted. We're gonna bring John back. He trust me, he will be back because he has so much to share. And of course we have a time restriction on our podcast, and we want to make sure that we don't overload you either, because you may not be able to take it. But we'll bring John back on our podcast. And if you're viewing this podcast and you just want to go to the next level in your life, you just want to do something different, you want to learn more than what you know right now, you need to hit me up, reach out to me. And what I want to do is offer you a 60-minute free coaching session with me. It's free, no cost, no obligations to you. All you have to do is scan the QR code. The information is on the screen, and you can connect with me. And I will really help you and get you in a position where you're living the amazing life as well. And again, John, I thank you for being a part of the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
We will. You coming back?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Mr. John Foster will be a frequent guest of Living the Amazing Life podcast. Okay.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
So he'll be back, and so this is all the time that we have today, guys. All right, and y'all know what time it is. It's time for you to live your amazing life. God bless you.
Peace and blessings.